I've been to different meditation centers in different cities, and I've never met a female Zen master before, or even known that was possible. And so I have very little technical knowledge about how these communities work, and I was curious what your experience has been like as a female Zen master.
That's an interesting question. You know, when I first became a teacher, it was 1981 or 2 or 3, somewhere in there. And Zen Master Seung Sahn, whose picture is on the wall over here, he was from Korea, which is an extremely patriarchal monastic system. I mean, they actually have really strong nuns that practice, but they're separate from the monks. And any of us who have studied Buddhism know that when you open up any of these Buddhist books, there's lots of famous Zen masters like Chan and Bunmun and Joju, and none of us can think of a single name of any of the women. The women are represented as the old lady selling tea by the side of the road. Once in a while there's an old lady selling tea by the side of the road and she hits the mind of a Zen master, but we never know her name, right? It's really interesting because your question as a woman sitting there is so interesting, because if you sit down and ask yourself, what am I? And that's what he said, then you just breathe in, breathe out. That's the same for a woman as it is for me. Right? It's the same thing. So we all have this Buddha nature. And I really, so when I became a teacher, Sansanin came up to me. I think I was like in my early 30s, maybe 31 or so. And he said, "You will help many women." And I remember being a little pissed off at the time. And I thought, I'm not just going to help women, or, it's going to be women and men. Why are you making that? I remember just it jarring me a little bit. But now that it's so many years later, I hope I can. I hope I can. And I really think that, and Sansanin used to say this, that this whole energy is kind of shifting over, and women are starting to step into our power. Women are starting to get strong. Women are just starting to recognize that we have the same equipment as the men. And men are starting to recognize it too. And that's really important because we make up half of the planet. And Zen Master Seung Sahn was quite the renegade for doing this. He came here, first of all, for me to have hair and to be wearing these robes is very, never happened in a Korean monastery. Many times we had guests come from other countries, and they would ask for the abbot, and I was the abbot here for a number of years, and I would come down and I would greet them, and they would laugh at me, like openly laugh. Like, "You're the abbot?" This kind of thing. And this is something that we women experience. It's like, okay. And you just have to sort of understand this cultural difference. And Zen Master Seung Sahn came over here with all of that behind him. And he saw all of these young people, sort of the hippie times. I was a little bit after the hippie times, but I consider myself a hippie at heart. And he just set up all these temples. Like, this place here runs like a monastery in Korea, but he mixed up monks and nuns and men and women, lay people, laymen, monks and nuns. This is very radical in terms of the way the last 2,600 or 700 years have gone in monastic history. He just kind of stepped out there and did. He got a lot of criticism for it. And we have lots and lots of women teachers now. In many traditions, they're everywhere, just like men. So if I could help a woman by my teaching, or set any kind of an example to a Dharma sister, a Dharma daughter, I would be very honored indeed. So we all have the same equipment, and we can all use it the same way. So it's really wonderful that we have this opportunity to speak and to teach and to share, regardless of gender. It's a great time. So thanks for asking that. Nobody's ever asked me that before. And now that all those years have passed, I hope I can.